The purpose of this video is to introduce you to the weekly activities document that is posted every week on Blackboard for your course. So you'll log into Blackboard and then click on your course, your biology course. And then from there, on the sidebar, you'll go to the course content link. And from there, you'll have two folders. You'll click on the first one, which says weekly folders on there. And then in there, you'll find week by week the week folders. And right now, you'll only be able to see the week 1 folder. The others are not available to you. When you click on there, the first thing you're going to see in week 1 are 2 assignments that need to be done this week. And there's deadlines for those. And I'll make a tutorial video on some of the details of submitting these assignments. You can see this one's due Thursday and this one is due Friday. So I want to get started on those as soon as possible. But the purpose of the video is for the weekly activities document, which you'll see posted each week. And so that one's here for week 1, Biology 2401, week 1 activities. And when you click on it, it'll open up and there's a menu right here. The lecture recordings, the lecture and recordings link, the practice assignments link, laboratory, grade assignments, assessments, and so on. So if I wanted to see what's going on with the laboratory, I could skip to that point in the document just by clicking on that link, and it takes me straight to the material for the lab. And you can see here for laboratory, there's lab safety video posted, lab safety rules, and you click on there, it'll open up your lab safety rules there. By the way, for the lab, you're going to want to watch this video before coming into the lab. You'll also see what exercise we'll be doing that week, and sometimes there'll be either some videos or handouts that will be useful for you during the lab, so you're going to want to check those out before coming into the lab. For example, I have a PowerPoint for lab exercise 1 and a handout from an older laboratory version that I like better than your newer one, although you still have your lab manual, or make an effort to get the lab manual as soon as possible. So you'd want to bring this one with you to class. We're also going to be doing lab exercise 2, but only activity 5, and I found 2 videos that are optional to watch. And then this handout has a useful table for the organs and organ system we're going to be covering, as well as the activity, the lab 2 activity 5 that we'll be doing this week. If you want to go right back to the menu or the contents menu for this document, you just click on the contents and take you right back there. And you can go to your lecture and reading material. These will be covered in the lecture. Also notice that I'll have some announcements listed here, so you're going to want to read those as soon as you open the document, see what's going on for the week. And go through those quickly. For me, a useful link would be, or for you, a useful link would be the two most useful ones weekly are going to be the lecture and the laboratory one. If you go to the lecture one, it'll give you things like animations and relevant videos for the material to be covered that week. You'll also have access to the lecture notes. So right here, you can see I have lecture notes posted right here. And there's 2 links. There's a part 1 and a part 2. And then I have some information here on what you can do with your notes regularly to more actively study with those notes rather than just reading through them. So take some time to go through that and consider using the strategy to work with your notes. You can see if I click on part 1, it's going to take me to, it's going to open up a tab, and you can see that's in PowerPoint form. And the button right over here on the top right, you can download it to your computer or your device if you would like. You might do this in the computer lab at school, for example. And then you click it up and you can open it in PowerPoint. And you could potentially print these up. However, I would recommend that you don't print them up as entire slides. Because then you'll be have a lot of pages printed if you do go on one slide per page. So what you can do is when you do go to print, and you select the print, you can change from a full page slide, you can change to different arrangements here. I like the printing to 6 slides per page like this, and then when you print them up, you'll actually have space in the margin. If you brought these to class, you can write your own notes as well through the margin. Of course, writing traditional notes in a notebook is fine as well, but that's definitely an option there. And again, you have access to the notes that will be covered in class from the weekly documents. So going back to the contents, there is a practice assignments. And on here, there are some assignments that or recommendations you can do to be more active as you cover the material. So for a more active form of studying. For example, you can sketch, label, and practice explaining things like diagrams in the book, diagrams and figures. That's pretty active. You can write responses to check your understanding, which are questions at the end of each section in your textbook. And you can work the review questions, which include multiple choice and free response questions at the end of every chapter. Another thing that I find that could be useful is at the beginning of every section are learning objectives. These learning objectives, when you read them, they state what the learner should be able to do. And if you think about it, that the way the learning objectives are written, they could actually sound like essay or free response prompts, like if you were taking an essay type exam where you have to write about the content that was covered in class. And then here's another useful link right here. This is from an older edition of the book here. It's the same author. It goes back to the 9th edition. And here you can go to any chapter that you want. For example, we're covering chapter 1, but when we do chapter 2, you can go to chapter 2. But in chapter 1 here, it has quizzes, it has a practice test, and some other resources you can use here. You see we have an art labeling quiz, matching quiz, multiple choice and true-false quizzes. You can go through the questions here and read through them and then pick whatever answer you think is correct. And when you finish the quiz, you can submit your answers and it'll grade them for you. You can see I didn't answer a lot of them. I just guessed at some of them, but it'll tell you whether or not you got them correct. And then you can even email your results to someone. You can email them to me, and I'm not going to give you credit for it, but you can email them to anyone. It's basically for your own practice. Any quizzes that I do give you will be graded, though. This is just for your practice online. So you go back to the contents. The next section is laboratory. We already showed you that. So you go to laboratory. You could also just scroll down through the document as well if you want to. Going back, you're going to see graded assignments there, and you go to the graded assignments right here. It's basically a description of the 2 assignments that are due this week. They're also already posted there in week 1. I already showed you those. That's these first 2 items here that are under the week 1 folder. So you just get the information on what to do with the assignment there and there. And after graded assignments, we have assessments, which include quizzes and tests. And here I just have TBA, which is to be arranged. So I'll be letting you know when major exams are coming up. We typically follow the sequence that's in the syllabus. And then the last section here is other helpful items. Here's a time budget, which is actually one of the assignments you'll be working on this week. You're basically going to download this Excel spreadsheet and then fill it in. But that assignment is described for you. The second assignment, doing the time budget, posted there in the weekly folder. We also have study tips for anatomy and physiology. So if you've never studied for a course in anatomy, it is different. It's very information intensive. You might want to look up some strategies to help give you some ideas on how to go about studying for this course. And then I have another study tips that are for general biology, and some of the items in this document can be useful for anatomy and physiology class. Generally, this document gives a lot of good advice for how to be an active learner in a biology course. And then I have a link to your syllabus, which is also available on the start page in Blackboard. So that's it for this walkthrough of your weekly activities document. Make sure you look at these each week and get the information you need for the upcoming week of instruction.